Hello, man. Bob McIntyre, Jesus stand here. And I was reading the Bible and I came across in Luke where Jesus comes up to Peter and his brother and he asked them to just follow me. And it says they dropped their nets and just followed him. They didn't know who he was, but they just followed him. And it made me think there might be a lot of men out there that God has called you to follow him. And you know who he is. You know all about him. But you're just choosing not to follow him. I say this because I've been there. When I grew up in church my whole life, and I knew all about him, knew all his stories, but I didn't follow him. I would just pray, Lord, don't let me go to hell. I didn't want a relationship. I just didn't want to go to hell. But it wasn't until I was about 30 years old till I started following Jesus. Because it came a point where it's either I keep living for the world that's letting me down, or do I put my trust in Jesus that's never going to let me down? And I get it. Some of y'all are saying that if I follow Jesus, what if he calls me to do something I really don't want to do? There's a good possibility he will ask you to do stuff you don't want to do, like share your faith. That's what he's called us to do, is to share our faith, to go and make disciples. But for some of y'all, he might ask you to do something a little different. 3 years ago when he asked me to do this podcast, he asked me to start a podcast where I interview godly men, get their testimony, and we talk about Jesus. It sounded good at first, but as I started thinking about it, I got nervous about it. I didn't want to really do it. So I started talking to godly men, hoping that they would tell me, no, I don't. You don't need to do it. But they never did. Heck, one guy told me, my good friend told me, that if you don't do what God asks you to do, that's being stupid. So here we are. But men, some of y'all men, God is just asking you to lead your family well, to love your wife, to love your kids. And with that, I would tell you, start telling your kids you love them. You're proud of them. Coming from somebody that grew up without a dad, they want to hear it. I would give anything to hear my dad tell me, I'm proud of you, I love you. So start telling your kids you love them. Start telling them you're proud of them. Start praying with your wife. But most of all, I would challenge you guys that if you're not following Jesus, start following Jesus. Put your nets down and follow him. Until next time, stay in the stands.